You know that feeling when you're lying in the dark, eyes open, and you can already tell tomorrow is going to hurt? Not because you're afraid of the day, but because you're tired in a way sleep never seems to fix. That moment right there, quiet, lonely, and a little frustrating, is where this journey begins. Most people don't talk about it, but there's a kind of tiredness that shows up even when you've technically slept. It's the heaviness behind your eyes, the slow way you move through the morning, the mental fog that makes even simple things feel bigger than they should be. It's the frustration of doing everything right and still waking up drained. And deep down, there's this small fear that maybe this is just your new normal. But the truth is simpler than it feels at 2 a.m. Your body isn't broken. Your mind isn't weak. You're just caught in a rhythm that isn't working anymore, a cycle of stress, habits, and late-night thinking that steals real rest without you noticing. And that's what this audiobook is here to help you change, not by forcing you to sleep more hours, but by helping you create the kind of rest your life actually needs. This isn't a lecture, and it's not a list of impossible rules. It's a conversation, a calm, honest one, about why you're tired, what your mind is trying to tell you, and how the small shifts you make tonight can completely transform how you feel tomorrow morning. So take a breath, let your shoulders drop a little, and let's start from the place you're standing right now, tired, trying, and ready for something different. Now, we step into Chapter 1. Chapter 1, The Silent Battle Every Night. There's a quiet moment most people never talk about. The part of the night where your body is tired, but your mind acts like it just got invited to a party it can't say no to. You lie there, staring at the ceiling, hoping the stillness around you will somehow calm the noise inside you. But instead, it feels louder. Thoughts you ignored during the day come marching in all at once, reminding you of things you didn't finish, things you regret, things you're scared might happen. It's not chaos. It's more like a slow, steady pressure you've learned to live with, even though it drains you more than you admit. What makes this moment so heavy isn't just the lack of sleep. It's the feeling that you're the only one dealing with it. Even though millions of people struggle with the same thing, lying awake at night feels incredibly personal. It feels like your mind is deliberately working against you. And when the hours slip by, you start calculating how tired you are going to be tomorrow, how much coffee you'll need to feel normal, and how long it'll take before the exhaustion shows up in your mood, your work, or your patience with the people you care about. But here's the truth that often gets missed. The problem isn't your ability to sleep. It's that your mind never gets a chance to slow down long enough to feel safe resting. Modern life is built on constant noise, constant comparison, constant pressure to do more and be more, and your nights are simply revealing what your days have buried. That's why this chapter matters so much. Before you can fix the way you sleep, you have to understand the battle happening inside you every night. Not to fight it harder, but to finally stop fighting at all. Chapter 2. The Truth About Modern Tiredness. There's a type of tiredness today that didn't exist 20 years ago. It's not physical exhaustion, and it's not the kind that disappears after a long nap. It's quieter. It shows up in the way you sigh without realizing it, the way simple tasks feel heavier, the way even good moments don't fully land because your brain feels like someone left a background app running that you can't force quit. This isn't weakness. It's the cost of a world that asks for constant attention but never gives your mind space to breathe. Modern tiredness comes from living in a world where your brain is always on alert. Notifications, deadlines, endless scrolling, unspoken expectations. You're always preparing for the next thing, even when nothing is happening. Your nervous system barely gets a minute to reset, so by the time you get to bed, you're not winding down, you're crashing. And crashing isn't rest, it's survival mode. No wonder you wake up feeling like the night didn't do its job. The hardest part is that this kind of exhaustion can make you feel like you're failing at something basic. Like everyone else has energy, you somehow lost along the way. But the truth is simpler. Your body isn't designed for non-stop mental load. You're not supposed to carry the weight of your entire life in your head every night. You're not supposed to fall asleep with the same pressure you woke up with. You're not supposed to feel guilty for needing rest. This chapter pulls apart the myth that being tired means being lazy. It's not laziness, it's overload. And once you understand the real source of your tiredness, you finally stop blaming yourself and start focusing on what actually matters, giving your mind permission to rest without feeling like you're falling behind. Chapter 3. Rewiring your mind for rest. Real rest doesn't start with your pillow. It starts with the way your mind handles the day long before the night arrives. Most people think sleep is the final step of the evening. But the truth is, your brain begins preparing for rest hours earlier. The way you manage stress, the way you process emotions, and the way you respond to pressure throughout the day silently shapes the way your nights unfold. You can't expect your mind to suddenly shut off at midnight if it's been in survival mode since morning. Rewiring your mind for rest isn't about forcing it to be quiet. It's about teaching it that it's safe to slow down. When your brain spends the entire day jumping from one worry to another, it keeps collecting loose ends, unfinished thoughts, unresolved feelings, unprocessed stress, and all of it lands in your bed with you. That's why your mind suddenly feels busy the moment your head hits the pillow. Not because you're broken, but because your brain finally has silence, and silence becomes the space where every unhandled thought shows up. The shift begins when you create tiny moments of mental pause during the day, moments where your brain learns it doesn't have to be in alert mode all the time. These moments don't need to be long or dramatic, just pockets of stillness where you let your mind unclench a little. Even a few seconds of slowing down can change the way your brain prepares for the night. Your mind is incredibly adaptive. It just needs a different rhythm to follow. This chapter reveals something most people never realize. Sleep isn't an event. It's a pattern, and once you train your mind to move through that pattern with ease, rest stops feeling like something you chase and starts becoming something that comes naturally, without force, without frustration, and without feeling like you're fighting your own thoughts. Chapter 4. The Hidden Cost of Overthinking. Overthinking is one of those things that feels harmless at first, almost responsible even. You tell yourself you're just trying to figure things out, but somewhere along the way, the thinking turns into looping, and the looping turns into mental noise you can't turn off. It's like carrying a backpack full of bricks, but the weight is invisible, so you forget to put it down. And this quiet, endless mental replay doesn't just steal sleep, it steals your peace long before the night even begins. The cost isn't obvious during the day because distractions keep you moving. But at night, when everything finally slows down, all the thoughts you avoided start coming back like they're waiting in line. Suddenly, your mind is replaying old conversations, worrying about tomorrow, imagining worst-case scenarios that feel real even though nothing is happening. Overthinking doesn't tire your body. It drains your system in a way that makes rest feel impossible. Your brain isn't trying to torture you. It's trying to protect you, but it doesn't know when to stop. The hidden truth is that overthinking isn't a sign of intelligence or care. It's a sign of overload. It's what happens when your mind has been holding too much for too long. And the longer you carry it, the heavier the nights become. When you begin to understand this, something shifts inside you. You stop blaming yourself for being tired, and you start recognizing that rest isn't about shutting your mind up. It's about giving it less to hold. This chapter doesn't ask you to think less. It asks you to trust yourself more, so your mind doesn't feel the need to run in circles every time the world gets quiet. Chapter 5. Breaking the Cycle of Exhaustion. Exhaustion doesn't happen overnight. It sneaks in slowly. One late night here, one stressful day there, until suddenly you realize you haven't felt truly rested in weeks or even months. It becomes your normal. You wake up tired, push through the day tired, and go to bed tired, hoping tomorrow will be different, even though nothing has changed. The cycle feels unbreakable, not because you are weak, but because you're stuck in a rhythm that your mind and body have gotten used to, even though it's draining you. The cycle usually starts with one simple moment, a night where you stay up later than planned. Maybe you're working, maybe you're scrolling, maybe you're just trying to catch a break from the day. But then the morning hits harder, which makes the next night harder, which makes the next morning even worse. And without realizing it, your body starts living in a constant state of catching up. It's like running on a treadmill that never slows down. You're moving, but you're not getting anywhere. Breaking this cycle isn't about discipline or strict routines. It's about giving your life a new beat, a slower one, a kinder one. It starts with understanding that rest isn't laziness and slowing down isn't failure. You don't break exhaustion by pushing harder. You break it by allowing yourself to function like a human being, not a machine. Once your mind stops bracing for the next wave of tiredness, your body begins learning how to recover again. This chapter helps you find that turning point, the moment where you stop trying to survive your nights and start rebuilding them. Because once the cycle cracks, even a little, your energy comes back in ways you haven't felt in years. Chapter 6. Energy that starts before sunrise. Morning energy doesn't begin in the morning. It begins in the quiet hours before it. The way your body wakes up is shaped long before your alarm ever rings. Most people think sunrise is where the day begins, but the truth is your system has already been preparing itself while you sleep. And when your nights are filled with stress, late-night noise, or restless thoughts, your body wakes up confused, almost like it's entering the day halfway through a sentence it doesn't remember starting. Real morning energy isn't explosive or dramatic. It's steady. It's the kind that lets you move without rushing, think without fog, and breathe without feeling like you're already behind. And the secret to having that energy is understanding that your nights don't just end when you fall asleep. They echo into your morning in ways you feel immediately. When your mind goes to bed cluttered, it wakes up cluttered. When it goes to bed calm, it wakes up clear. A fresh morning is built, not wished for. But here's the part most people never realize. Your morning energy isn't determined by the number of hours you sleep. It's shaped by the quality of your mental rest. Even a short night can lead to a powerful morning if your mind experiences true recovery. And once you learn to give yourself that recovery, you stop waking up defeated and start waking up ready. This chapter introduces the shift that changes everything. The understanding that your day doesn't begin when you open your eyes. It begins with the way you take care of your mind the night before. And when that rhythm changes, your mornings stop feeling like battles and start feeling like new beginnings. Chapter 7. The Power of Tiny Night Rituals. The biggest mistake people make at night is believing rest begins when they finally lie down. But real rest starts long before your head touches the pillow. It comes from the tiny things you do without thinking, the way you slow down, the way you disconnect from the world, the way you signal to your mind that the day is finally ending. These moments are so small that most people overlook them, but they quietly shape how your brain prepares for sleep. Tiny night rituals are powerful because they don't feel like work. They're not strict routines or complicated habits. They're simple, gentle cues that tell your mind it's safe to take a breath. Maybe it's dimming the lights. Maybe it's washing your face slowly instead of rushing through it. Maybe it's putting your phone a little farther away, or just sitting still for a minute before bed. These aren't sleep hacks. They're signals, soft, human signals your mind has been waiting for. Modern life has taught us to jump from full speed straight into sleep, like flipping a switch. But the mind isn't built that way. It needs transitions. It needs a moment to exhale. When you create even a small ritual at night, you're giving your brain permission to unclench. And when your mind learns to soften, your sleep naturally deepens. The freedom isn't in doing more, it's in doing less, but doing it with calm intention. This chapter is about reclaiming the few minutes before sleep as the quietest, most meaningful part of your day. Because when you treat those minutes with care, your nights stop feeling like a struggle and your mornings begin feeling like they truly belong to you. Chapter 8. Resting your body, calming your life. Most people think rest is just a physical thing, something your body needs after a long day. But real rest goes deeper. It's emotional. It's mental. It's the feeling of finally letting go of the weight you've been carrying all day, even if that weight never touched your hands. Your body can be still while your mind is racing, and that's why so many people wake up tired. Rest isn't just about lying down. It's about releasing the pressure that's been building inside you for hours. There's a direct line between the way you treat yourself during the day and the way you feel at night. When you spend the entire day pushing, worrying, comparing, or pretending you're okay when you're not, your body absorbs all of it. It holds that tension in your shoulders, in your breathing, in the way your stomach tightens without you noticing. By the time the night comes, your body isn't ready to relax. It's trying to recover from everything you didn't give yourself space to feel. But once you learn how to rest your body with intention, you begin to calm your entire life. A slower evening doesn't make you less productive. It makes you more human. When you give yourself permission to slow down, even for a few minutes, everything inside you shifts. Your heartbeat settles, your thoughts soften, your mood stabilizes. Rest stops being something you chase and becomes something you allow. This chapter teaches that rest isn't the end of your day. It's the beginning of your peace. And once you experience that peace, you start protecting it like the essential ingredient it really is. Chapter 9. Waking up with purpose. There's a difference between waking up and rising. Waking up is something your body does automatically. Rising is something your spirit does when it feels grounded, clear, and ready for the day. Most people wake up already feeling like they're behind, checking their phone, rushing through the morning, racing their own thoughts. And when the first thing you feel is pressure, it shapes your entire day before you even get out of bed. Waking up with purpose isn't about being hyper-productive or overly motivated. It's about opening your eyes with a sense of direction, even if that direction is small. It's the feeling of knowing why you're getting up, not in a dramatic, life-changing way, but in a steady, human way that makes your morning feel meaningful instead of mechanical. When your mind wakes up clear and your body feels supported, purpose becomes something natural, not forced. The secret is simple. Purpose is built the night before. When your mind goes to bed with peace instead of pressure, it wakes up with clarity instead of clutter. And when you start your day from a calm place, your decisions feel lighter. Your emotions feel steadier, and even small tasks feel meaningful. Purpose isn't about doing more. It's about waking up to a life that feels like it fits you, not a life you're constantly trying to keep up with. This chapter helps shift the way you think about mornings. Because once you learn to rise, not just wake up, you stop surviving your days and start living them with a quiet confidence that carries you forward. Chapter 10. Building a life that fuels you. A well-rested life isn't built from sleep alone. It's built from the way you live when you're awake. When your days are filled with pressure, noise, or constant self-criticism, your nights become a mirror of that stress. But when your life starts matching the things that actually matter to you, peace, clarity, honesty, purpose, your sleep naturally begins to align with that calmer rhythm. The truth is, your nights can only heal you if your days aren't hurting you. The goal isn't a perfect routine or a flawless schedule. It's alignment. It's being honest about what drains you and what strengthens you. It's noticing the habits that leave you empty and the moments that make you feel grounded again. When you build a life that fuels you emotionally, mentally, spiritually, sleep stops being something you chase. It becomes a natural response to a life that feels safe, meaningful, and connected to who you actually are. When your days are shaped with intention, your nights become lighter. When your decisions reflect your real priorities, your mind stops running in circles. And when you give yourself permission to slow down, to breathe, to live at a pace that feels human, you finally begin to experience rest as something deeper than sleep. You begin to feel restored. This final chapter is a reminder that rest isn't a luxury. It's a reflection of how gently you're willing to treat yourself. And once your days and nights work together, waking up fresh becomes a natural part of your life, not a rare event. Conclusion. At the end of this journey, one truth becomes clear. Feeling rested has very little to do with how many hours you sleep and everything to do with how your mind, your heart, and your life move together. You were never meant to push yourself to the edge, fall into bed exhausted, and hope for the best. You were meant to live with rhythm, moments of effort, moments of breath, moments of slowing down so your body can remember what peace feels like again. You've learned that your tiredness isn't a flaw. It's a message that your mind has been running too long without a pause, that your nights have been carrying more weight than they should, and that your heart has been stretching itself to keep up with a world that never stops. But you also learned something even more important. Your rest is within reach, not through forcing yourself to sleep more, but by giving yourself a life that feels lighter, clearer, and kinder on the inside. This isn't the end of the story. It's the beginning of a new pace for you, a steadier one, where you no longer wake up feeling behind, where your nights hold calm instead of noise, and where your mornings become a quiet promise that you're moving in the right direction. And if this journey opened something in you, if it made you breathe a little easier or see your nights with new clarity, I'd love for you to continue exploring with me. Your growth doesn't stop here. Whenever you're ready, step into the next audio or video and keep building the life that finally lets you wake up fresh.